What's going on, guys? It's your boy Random Guy Kev, and this is Thoughts of a Random Guy. We talk about many things dealing with love, dating, relationships, adulting, life's ups and downs, and the ever evolving world of just being a human. Don't forget to check me out on all your favorite social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website at randomguykev.com. Today's topic is a college degree still necessary for success? And my co host for this episode is.
Andy from Life.
Andy from Life. So I have my boy Andy here, hailing from the UK.
Yep.
He wanted to talk about this topic, so let's talk about it. College degree. Being someone that has two of them, I personally think it depends on your career path and where you're looking to go. Not everybody needs a college degree, but in some cases, depending on your career path, it will benefit you and get you into different doors that a person without a college degree doesn't have. And I feel like we've discussed something similar to this topic previously, but I wanted to get Andy on here because he's based in the UK, and outside the US education is free, so there's a lot of people that certain parts. I feel like education is free everywhere else but the U.S. But there's people out there with multiple degrees just because they can get them for free. And in the U.S., it's more so, hey, if you have the money, if you can cover yourself to not go into debt, you might be able to get a college degree. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, so the UK is very odd when it comes to its degrees in the way it works. So I believe it's Scotland, they can get a degree for free, paid for by the Scottish Government, unless that's changed in recent years. That was a thing for a long time. I know, definitely. They used to basically, if you were born in Scotland, lived in Scotland, and went to a Scottish university, your degree was covered, I believe. Someone's probably going to at me now and say, actually, it wasn't. But I mean, it's not. You get all your basic sort of schooling for free up until 18, when you leave college, as we call it, or sixth form, which is sort of like higher education in school level. So 16 to 18 years.
Yep.
And then sort of university fees at the moment for about full time courses are about £9,500 per year in Great British pounds. I don't know the exchange rate at the moment.
Wait, you said £9,000?
9,535 according to the AI overview on Google.
That's funny. So
And that's
that'd be
just
like.
that's just tuition fees as well. That's before you look at your accommodation and your food and everything else that you'd get. They do it through a student loan, which would be paid back when you earn above a certain threshold in your working life.
Hold on. So you can take out a loan, and then the only time you start paying the loan is when you start making a specific amount of money.
Yeah, so
Oh my god.
yeah, so basically it's like a government loan, and then it's paid back sort of at a very low rate actually for however long it takes to repay it. Some people obviously pay off early, but yeah, you pay back once you in work and earning above a certain threshold. This is just going off the top of my head as well because I'm coming at it from a different side to you, Kev. I never actually went to university.
Okay. Yep.
In the UK. So I didn't do as well as I wanted to in my higher education. Basically, I say higher education, that's what they call uni, isn't it? I'm getting my terms wrong now. During my school years,
Yep.
in sort of the upper part of my school years, I didn't really do as well as I wanted to. I came out of school not really knowing what path I wanted to go down with my career. I'd wanted to join the Air Force. Medical reasons meant that I couldn't, so I was sort of without a career. I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing. At the time, there was an organisation in the UK for people up to 20 years called Connections, and they would help you sort of with looking for work. I basically got sent a list of jobs that were going in the local area. What takes your interest? So after a little bit of temporary work at a warehouse that specialised in alcohol, I then pursued a career in engineering as a trainee. So this is manufacturing engineering. So sort of machine shop, make parts out of metal, steel, whatever, plastic, whatever material they wanted. And then I sort of bounced around and then went into an inspection role. So checking the components once they come off the machine shop, making sure that they're good. And all my experience now, I've been doing this for probably 16 years as a trainee, and then working through, and I'm now a full-time machine programmer for measuring equipment. So that is my day job, and I managed to just learn all that on the trade. So I get your point, and I actually agree with your point about the. It depends what you want to do. I'm very happy and fairly well paid in my role at the moment, so it's like I'm not really looking to change it. Yeah. However, if I wanted to go into a designer's role, into a drawing role, something like that, or a commercial, all the other departments that deal with things, a lot of the time you have to have a degree to do that. So it does limit what I can do within this career path.
So you've been at the same company for the 16 years, or is just different companies?
So I've worked at two companies. I started at a small, what we'd call a subcon firm, basically. So it's a small engineering firm that makes components for various people. You know, some of the customers we had, it'd be sort of like, you'd be looking at anything from defence industry to medical grade equipment. And we'd make components for different things for that. And then I moved into the aerospace industry. I'm not going to name the company for reasons at the moment, which we obviously discussed before we came on air.
Yeah.
But I moved into the aerospace industry, and I've been there for 13 years now.
Okay. So, do you feel like there's, since you didn't go to school, university.
Further education.
Education. Do you feel like there was any pressures at the time, or even now, from like just society as a whole, like, hey, you have to go to college to find the correct career path?
It was something that was very much pushed in sixth form. It was very much, you got to go and look at your UCAS application, which is the what does it stand for? It's basically like how you apply for these schools in the UK.
Yeah.
So it is. I'm trying to find what it actually stands for, because that would help, wouldn't it?
So essentially, you have over here. You know, there's we talk about trades, and then we talk about college, and so I know some people that go into they go to trade school.
Yeah.
Essentially, did you go to a trade school, or was more of you learned everything you needed to learn on the job?
I literally learned everything I needed to know on the job. I did a couple of sort of evening classes at a local college near us, because the way the UK works, it's university and college is sort of like say you're 16 to 18 or whatever. You get a lot of people that will go to a college because they may want to learn a trade, maybe through an apprenticeship scheme, or they'll do the A-levels and then potentially go into university. But I did my A-levels, didn't get the grades I wanted, and just went and learned everything on the job. So everything I've learned is from people that I've worked with throughout the years. So at the moment we've got one guy, he's been doing the job for longer than I've been alive. He started in 1987 at our company, and he's literally just built everything up between him and three other people over the years. They've built everything to where it is now, and we're absorbing that knowledge and then using what we learn to then progress things further as well. So we'll be doing continuous improvement with our systems, and how we program things. So everything I did was literally just on the job, no sort of formal education as such. A couple of evening classes just to understand maybe machining techniques better, or sort of design applications. So I did a course in AutoCAD design, which was just an evening class, just to get me. It helps me now as well because I part of my job, I will design fixturing for components to go on the machines.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that it can close a lot of doors, but at the same time, there are opportunities for people to develop a career, such as myself, just learning on the job.
I agree. I agree. I think like what you've been through, I think there's a lot of people that's gone through the same particular steps. They, weren't sure if they wanted to go to school, university, and then, decided to, some people went the military route. Other people was just like, you know what, let me just start working and I'll figure it out from there. And then once they found a job that they liked, they just kept doing it and learned on the job. And again, you don't have to go to school. It's not required for certain roles, but again, to kind of push yourself forward, like career wise, it's like, okay, do you have at least a certification in this so we can push you forward? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite an appropriate topic at the moment as well, because the guys that have just finished their at 18 years old,
yeah,
they're what we call A levels. They're currently getting their results in the coming weeks, and then they're going to be going through this whole application system of, have I got a place, have I not got a place, did I get the grades? Oh, hang on, I didn't get the grades, so I now need to go through clearing, and things like that. So
it's kind of like getting, when you say ed level, it's kind of like the SATs, no?
Yeah, I don't know much about the American education. So the way it works, you'd have what we call the SATs, the SATs, in what we'd say is year 9. So that's about 13, 14.
Yeah.
Then you go to your GCSEs, which is like your 15, 16-year-old, the exams you do at the end of the year 11, which would be 16 years.
Yeah.
And then your A levels is up to 18, 16 to 18.
Okay.
So I don't know how that compares to the US schooling system. I get confused by the schooling system.
It's a different
over
levels.
there.
Yeah, it's a different levels. I mean, we have regionals. We have grade level stuff. We have regional stuff. Then we have SATs for college. Some colleges don't care about SAT scores anymore, or ACT scores, because you needed to score like above 1100 to get into a certain school. If you didn't score that, then you couldn't go to that school. You had to choose a different school. SATs, ACTs were big things to get into college. Now, not so much. People, I mean, there's a lot of smart people and business savvy people that didn't do those, or did very poorly at that, but in life they're doing wonderfully. So I mean, everything is kind of subjective when it comes to education.
This is the thing, and I mean, nowadays as well, like, I don't know if you have a similar thing in the US, but over in the UK there's a thing called the Open University. So at any point in your life you can start doing a degree through a remote learning. So I'll send you the link actually, because it might be relevant for you to have a look too.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. Like, so you could just pick up and go.
Yeah, so I'm currently looking at it now, so you can go through, and they have a range of subjects as well.
Okay.
And it breaks down how you go through your chosen path. So if I go to, say, engineering now, I'm just clicking on this because it helps. So you've got your engineering courses. You can have your degree, your diploma, or just an engineering certificate. So you can work your way through, and then they can even go into masters. So
cool.
do post-grad courses as well, but this would be more of a remote learning. So you can do it part-time as well. So you can do 16 to 18 hours per week for 6 years, which I know someone who did this. She had kids quite young, and then did an open university degree while raising 4 kids pretty much single-handedly, and now works for a defence company in the UK, and she's doing really well with it.
That's awesome.
So you could, so I've gone into the engineering, so you could just do a generic engineering, computing with electronic engineering, design and innovation, bachelor's of design, combined STEM or open degrees, and then you can do your masters as well. So there's options available. So in the UK at the moment, higher education, further education, whatever they want to call it this week, it's much more accessible now because of things like the Open University and distance learning.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is, like, the online learning, it took a minute for people to accept it. But
Yeah,
then once they accepted it, they were just like, okay, we offer online classes and you can be remote. And it's like,
yeah,
I think that changed the game for a lot of people who were not able to show up in class every day, pay those boarding fees to stay at
yeah,
a school to learn, travel and stuff like that. So I think that gave a lot of people opportunities. Plus, like you said, they have certificates on there, so you don't necessarily need to get a degree depending on what you get. But
yeah,
and they give you options, so you can get your bachelor's, your master's, your doctorates, or a certificate of some sort for something that you're learning. And I think that's very beneficial. Like, again, you don't necessarily need a college degree depending on what you get, but a college degree can help you move forward in specific avenues. And I'm in I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering and a master's in information systems.
yeah,
I'm going to technology route, and for technology, it's always shifting. Since I've been in this realm, I've gotten a number of certificates because I mean that's kind of all you need when you get into it. When you get further into it, because it's like, okay, I got another certification for that too. That's saying, hey, I know that technology. Boom. And that certificate, a lot of certificates, you have to take the test and refresh your information every year. So I'm taking a test every year for a specific technology because it changes every like 6 months, every
yeah,
three months. So again, like nothing's wrong with it. Nothing's wrong with the college degree, but it definitely, depending on where you go, it makes more sense in one aspect versus another. Like I've seen like degrees in um it was such a stupid degree.
Oh
It
yeah. I
sounded
was.
so dumb where it's like, hey, like you can't get a job with this, my guy.
Yeah.
You can, like, you might, that's gonna be hard. Like, do you think, like, I feel like certain art, music, writing degrees make sense
Yeah.
if you double major with something else as a backup, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, they're what we'd call a Mickey Mouse degree over in the UK. They're like those ridiculous degrees, and yeah, I remember there's some. I've just seen here 10 ridiculous degrees you could actually study in the UK. Number one, surf science and technology.
That's that sounds
Like,
wild as hell. Surf
yeah,
science.
yeah,
Okay.
and yeah. So it is. I mean, my thing as well. Like from experience, I've worked in a machine shop. I've worked on the machines. I've then progressed into checking the components. And what I'm finding at the moment, I meet a lot of people who are incredibly bright, incredibly clever. They've gone to uni. They've got like the top scores at university, things like that. But they'll give you a design for a component, and then the minute it comes to actually cutting metal, they don't understand the fact that the material is going to distort depending on how much force is put through it. If they cut the material too much, too fast, it can bow the component. Things can move. Drills can break or drills can move. They can do what we call wandering. So you say it's going to drill in a certain position, and then the machine, it'll just move and follow the grain of the material, and it won't necessarily follow the right path. And the amount of times I've had discussions with all these people, and I'm sitting there going, you're working... I mean, it's very specific to engineering, this as well, I would have thought. But you sit there going, you're working in a perfect little world where everything on your computer says this is achievable.
Yes.
The minute you come down and you actually try to do this for real, it won't work. Things are going to move, things are going to change, and there's going to be issues that you're going to run into that you haven't foreseen. And trying to have that discussion with these people when they've been to university, and they like to pull up a spreadsheet and they'll give you graphs and charts and all this, and you're like, okay, let's get real now. It's a bit like that scene with Tom Hanks in Sully when he's like, right, let's get real. I literally feel like that.
Yeah. Brother, the way that that people are using AI to get their degrees, and I've mentioned this a number of times, it's scary. Because, like, okay, you got a degree, but that was based off of you using AI your entire 4 years in school, so you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about or what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy we grew up in an age where we didn't really have internet growing up, and then it hit us midway through, and we were just like, okay, this is cool technology, but I'm not gonna be stuck to it.
Yeah.
All these
It
kids now
helped.
are
It
like
was a tool
stuck
to help
it.
you find the information.
Correct.
But you
a
were
lot
still
of these kids don't
learning
know how to
and
cite
writing
their
yourself.
sources.
Yeah. I mean, Christ, I went at work the other week because we were showing. We've got Copilot on our PCs at work, and I was showing a guy, and I literally just said to it, design me a measuring program for the floor pan of a Formula One car. And it gave me everything I needed. It literally just wrote the whole thing out for me and said, this is what you need to know.
Yeah.
And it told you where to probe, what to do, and all that. And I'm like, this is insane, this technology.
I mean,
but it's
you
using
still
it in
have
the
to
right
check
way.
its work, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was just an example that I thought of off the top of my head because what we do at my company is very unique and very niche and very unique. So it was just something I thought that was generic, and but there was an older guy there who he grew up before even the internet, and he's like, it was all literally when he started working at the company, all the drawings were hand drawn.
Yeah.
Whereas now you've got CAD CAM, and he couldn't believe that within a minute I'd got everything I needed to go and measure a component off of AI.
Yeah, a lot of these people used to use CAD. Hand draw everything. Like intricate building maps. And it's like now you could just drop it onto on your PC, drop it in an app or something, and boom, it creates it for you instantly. They used to spend days doing it. Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, AI is cool, but it's like certain things don't rely on it because it can't give you all the answers. It's not 100% foolproof. And make sure you have the skills yourself to know how to do it. Because I feel like, if your company decides, okay, yeah, you have access to AI stuff right now, but we're going to remove your access later. Can you prove that you can still do the work without the AI?
Yeah,
some people
and you
can.
know, there's a company called Cloud NC that's I think they're US based. I'm not sure, but they've got a place in the UK, and they're coming up with an AI machining application, which is meant to help machinists cut down their cycle times. You know, instead of something that would take hours, days, weeks to program, it can cut the time used to do that down using AI. And with inspection, we're currently looking at a piece of software that does a similar thing, but there's still imperfections in it as well. So you need to know the practical applications behind it rather than just relying on it.
Yeah.
And we found out we did the 2-day course recently for this piece of software, and as soon as we came out, we said, yeah, it's going to save us a lot of time, but there's still a lot of things we're going to have to do. So it's not a one-stop solution. We're going to have to go in and add all the bits of custom code we use for our programs in. We're going to have to do that. But some people, like you say, they're straight out of school and they go, this has done it for me now, that can go, and then they're going to run into issues.
Yeah, I think you're still going to need that human interaction for certain aspects.
Definitely. It's never going to go away. People say, oh, AI is going to take over. It won't, because the minute you remove that human element, it's working in the perfect world again. And life isn't perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Do you feel like being that I don't know if you have like the want to be more in a higher role than you currently are? Do you feel like not having a degree has prevented you from climbing that corporate ladder?
It has. There are roles that I look at that I think I could do. I think I could get on with it quite fine. You know, I'd learn. I absorb the information. So worst case scenario, I could learn. But because I haven't got that degree, it's very much sort of like, oh well, you can't do the role. I could. I've even seen it for the role that I do at the moment. People say, oh, you haven't been to college, you haven't done your apprenticeship, you haven't got a degree, so you can't do the role. And I'm like, give me a machine and I'll prove to you I can do the job.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. A couple of years back, I was chatting to a recruiter, and she said that she'd been dealing with a client that was looking for someone to fill a role, and going, "Well, I'm not finding anyone suitable." And she said, "Well, you're asking for a degree. You're specifying a degree. A lot of the people that are applying are straight out of university and have no real hands-on experience with this role, and a lot of the time they don't want to know as well." So the practical applications, I know 2 guys, maybe 3 guys that have been to university who actually take on a practical role. Whereas the people that go through their apprenticeships and that will do the hands-on, for want of a better term, the dirty work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good God, what was that?
My bad. That was my alarm. I forgot it was set.
No, it's the guys that I've dealt with a lot recently who've come out of university. Like I said, they're very clever people, but they don't know or want to know the practical side of it. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to roll their sleeves up and learn the job and understand what's going on in the real world. They're stuck, as I said, in that theoretical world where everything's perfect.
Yeah. That's easy, and it's like, and that's why I kind of tell people, like, sometimes when you're looking at roles within your own company, even though you know how to do the job and you can do it better than anyone else currently, they will always have some type of requirement that's like, yeah, we kind of can't pick you because you don't have this.
Yeah.
Even though we know you can do it.
It's no different to we're trying to find people to do to come and work with us. We've had someone leave, and one guy who's almost at retirement, and he's permanently working from home for medical reasons, so he's not actually hands-on anymore.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to find people to fill that role, and it's either they haven't got the experience and the know-how, so they wouldn't be suitable because they don't understand what it is we do. So one of the solutions someone came up with was, let's put a grad student in there. But our argument has been, it's all well and good putting a grad student in there, but we've then got to spend the extra 3 or 4 years teaching them how to check a job off the bench before they can come and program a machine. It's not as simple as saying throw someone at it. So there's swings and roundabouts to having a degree, because it can benefit people, but at the same time, in very specific roles, it can be a hindrance because they're not going to understand how to do that job and how to approach it. Like if I gave you a component and said, here, Kev, go measure that, I'm going to have to teach you how to do that before you can actually go off and do it yourself. And that's going to be, and it takes a long time. You know, I'm constantly learning, and that's another thing as well. You've got to be constantly learning. Keep the grey matter going.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you have to constantly learn to move forward.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's another one. For this question, it's interesting because it's like, how does a college degree affect the ability to start your own business? And I feel like, I mean, you don't need a college degree for that. That's simple enough. You just, do a couple Google searches, talk to some people about understanding the process of, filing your LLC, getting a bank account, talking to the right people, and going from there. But, it's just the idea of what your business is going to be about that you just need to figure out. But I don't think if you have a college degree, you don't have a college degree, it doesn't matter. You could start whatever you want as long as you, go in the right direction and you know who to talk to and or know where to find the information.
Yeah, as long as you've got that get up and going, you've got that entrepreneurial mentality, then you can achieve whatever you want. The company my wife works at, he's early to mid-20s. I don't believe he's been to university, and he's got a very successful business that's constantly expanding, and it's only been around for 3 years, 4 years at most. So as long as you've got that mentality, you can do whatever you want. But a college degree isn't necessary these days.
No, I agree. Last question for you. Do you feel like the value of the college degree will change in the next 20 years?
I think it's coming back round to... I think it's going to go full circle. There was a period of time where it seemed everyone was focused on a degree. But I think nowadays more and more the mentality is going back to, well, if people are willing to learn and put the time in, then we can teach people. We need to teach people. Not everyone wants to go to university, or people just want to go and get drunk for 4 years and just about scrape through with a passing grade.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get some people that go and they will put the time in and they'll put the effort in. And fair play to them if that's what they want to do. But for me, I think we're going to get back to a point where there's going to be less priority on a degree being a necessary requirement for a job. And people will start going back to... I mean, they're really pushing apprenticeships in the UK at the moment. But that, I mean, that's a whole economic thing that's sort of putting hindrance on that. But yeah, we're fucked.
No, I get you.
But yeah, I think it will go back round again, because we're going to need practical trades as well. You know, all these people getting a degree, but going back to the AI thing, if AI takes over those roles, what are they going to do? Because the degree isn't going to be helping them anymore.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, I think, you know, it's up to us to police AI. We can't just allow it into everything. There's like, right in the States, in I want to say Idaho or Iowa, one of the two, they banned AI therapists. So you can't use an AI that's a therapist. Well, a therapist that's an AI. An AI that's a therapist. Whichever word. You can't use AI for therapy. I mean, that makes sense. You should be talking to a human either way.
This is,
and using AI for therapy.
it's like those people that go online and they have a medical issue and they go and Google it, and then all of a sudden they're panicking because Google basically says you're going to die. Yeah. Whereas you go and see a doctor, and they'll tell you exactly what's wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But as we get to the end of this episode, what do you want to leave people with in regarding college degree, and if they're needed for
my
success?
thing is follow your dreams. If you want to go and get a degree, then you can, but it's not the be all and end all of life at the end of the day. You can have very successful careers without a college degree. It's just whatever you want to do with your life. Just enjoy it and have fun with it mainly. But just bear in mind it's not 100% necessary these days. And the emphasis is swinging back to less and less you have to have a degree. Is what I'm finding in personal experience.
Well, thank you, Andy, for joining me for this episode of Thoughts of a Random Guy. But you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website, randomguykev.com. Don't forget to check in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.